Welcome back to another brand spanking new episode of the Order of the Blazing Horse, the only Detroit Pistons podcast based on a mystical prophecy. I am one of those prophets touched by a horse out in the third world after the 2023-2024 season by Hooper. Touched in a dream, touched in a vision, touched in whatever you have it. Harry Morrow's out here in Ypsilanti in this our year of the Fire Horse. Joined as always by my co-host with the most. You know him. He ain't gonna ghost.
I'm Mickey Jacobs. What's going on, Harry? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm living it up. It's spring 3.0 out here. I think we're on our last near dip to past freezing next week, so I'm excited about that. Mickey, how you living out there in West Warmland?
I'm good. It cooled off a little bit. It rained one time earlier this week, and that sort of broke the heat for now. So I'm enjoying things before they get to just 100-degree plus in the valley. So I gotta get it while I can, baby.
You gotta enjoy breaking the heat because we might be doing that in a couple weeks here. Let's see how that
gotta break the Sixers first, and then we break the
we gotta break them down next week or tonight, or rather, I guess I don't know why I said next week. That's so wild. We got the Sixers on the back end of their back-to-back after the Pistons coming off yet another Cade-less victory. Can these boys be stopped? Is there any sort of gumming up these Pistons, or are they just too lubricated, Mickey? Give me your feelings.
They're slick. They're sliding. They're cutting. They have the defensive mentality. They have an identity, as I believe Isaiah Joe said after they just got away with one against us. But no, it's really good to see. If it feels, I don't want to get too excited, but it feels like no Cade, no problem. And when Cade comes back, other teams are going to be the ones having the problems. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, they're going to be looking out. I think they're going to be in a lot of trouble. And it's so funny to me that, and I know every Detroit Pistons podcast has brought this up, I'm sure. And if you haven't, then surprising. But the Pistons were written off when Cade went down. Everyone said they're going to lose that one seed.
Yep.
Joke's on you. They gained a game on Boston in that whole time. I think now they're at 4, but they were like 4.5 at one point. So like pretty wild that it's not changing. It seems like it's pretty wrapped up. If they win today, Pistons clinch the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, which is unbelievable. 60 wins is still on the table. They got to win 4 out of their remaining 5 games. Games include tonight at Philly, then some easier ones, honestly, after that. Or at Orlando on Monday, home against Milwaukee. Will Giannis play? He's begging to, apparently. At Charlotte, everyone's afraid of the buzz, I guess. And then ending the season at Indiana against the team trying to have the worst record in the NBA. I smell some wins coming out of there, especially the way this squad been stepping up. We got to talk about JD. We got to talk about Danis. We got to talk about Asar. We got to talk about Red Velvet. We got to talk about Green, the Red Green Show. If you're into Canadian weird kind of sketch comedy, do-it-yourself shows, we got to talk about Richard DM4 in the chat, brazen it up with those Langdon moves keep paying off. We're looking at 21, maybe even 20 with that swap, and Kev looking like a reliable playoff rotation piece. We are going to talk about how the picks are coming out. Last night was very good to the Pistons. The Timberwolves lost. Thank you, yes. Philly. The Atlanta Hawks won. Great job. Houston won. If Denver wins today, that's putting more space between us and Minnesota. It's looking more and more likely like 21 or 20 is going to be the pick. That is an enormous swap because it's also looking likely that Pistons would have been picking at 28. That's 8 picks near the end of where this first round talent could really be going. And when you think about NIL players going back into to remove their draft eligibility, that could pay off big time dividends. And I already sent Mickey some Pistons to take, or some potential Pistons to take a look at. We'll discuss that draft prospect on a different show, but not maybe this one. But Mickey, back to the pieces we were already talking about, back to the pieces already in place, back to this rotation. Who do you want to kick off giving them flowers to?
I mean, you got to start with the big guy, right? You got to go with the big guy, Jalen Duren. Oh, fucking monster. Just unbelievable. Number 1 option, deciding guys can't guard him, playing really pretty great defense too, moving the ball, just being a force, man. What a ascension for him. He had already been having a good season, but just deciding that like, no, we're not going to backslide. We're gonna keep going. It's incredible. He's just, and if you thought broadcasters were just drooling for him before, now I don't even clock it anymore, because it's just specimen this, man's body that, shoulders up the wazoo. It's
it went from
funny.
body to body of work at this point, because
Ooh!
the numbers don't even bend. They're breaking minds, dude. He's the juggernaut, bitch. You can't stop this guy. It's crazy watching him play.
Okay, we got
Ibrahim in there.
Saying Trajan is underrated. It was critical of the Ivy move, but hindsight is 2020. It really is, and we don't have to dive too deep on that. I don't think we're gonna bring anything to that conversation that hasn't already been said. But it's a nice segue into Kevin Huerter.
You want to talk about Kevin next? You're done with JD?
No, we can. I mean,
let's feel like I want to gloss a little bit more on JD, if that's okay. Just real.
Drizzle some glaze, my guy.
Please let me make him Krispy Kreme. This man, let me go nuts on those donuts. But he has been shooting the hell out of the free throws. The free throw rate is like well over 80. So you can't hack this dude. But guess what? You have to, because literally nobody in the NBA can stop him. He was plowing through. The only reason that he didn't like absolutely dominate that Timberwolves game is because the ball was like slipping out of his hands, but he was getting through and around Rudy.
It was like an off game, and he had 22, 14, 4 assists and 3 stocks. It's five turnovers, but I mean, whatever. But yeah, no, you saw the touch was a little, and you saw every time he missed a bunny, he would just go, oh, like I wanted that one back. But
second best all in the game. First best is Paul Reed, because Paul Reed always goes, oh,
I love it. He cares.
It's crazy. And yeah, it's like Richard says, it's crazy that a JD off night against Rudy still ends up 22 and 14, which would have been his best game last season. The kid is wild. Get ready for him to get north of 40, because it's happening. So now that you brought that, the next player up you want to talk about, let's get into the blazing saber, the crimson cutlass, red velvet, slasher extraordinaire, dropping threes, playing D, making some sick passes. How you been feeling about Lil Kev?
I love him, and I feel like everybody was sort of saying, even if the 3 ball doesn't fall, he does a lot of things right. He's got active hands. He reads the passing lanes. He makes smart cuts, good reads.
Finishes around the rim.
Great around the rim. But the tray ball falling too now.
Come on.
It's looking complete. It really, I think we talked about this a little bit last week, but it really feels like we've got such a good, the bench is such a good complement to the starters. So if Duncan finds himself in foul trouble, you feel really good about Red Velvet coming off the bench. If Asar picks up a few fouls, you got Ron, who was just giving Shea fits.
Oh man.
And what else you got? Stu and Paul Reed for Duran. Dana. I mean, we'll get there. But Danis has been.
What about the other color on this team? What about our Christmas
Javonte Green, baby?
He's been God,
up north of 50 from the corners. He had his monster. Was it in OKC where
it was in OKC? He hit 5 threes, right?
Unbelievable. Was that a career high?
I believe it was a career high. 5 threes, which is not. He's shooting over 37% for 3 on the season. To get back to Red real quick, not only can he come in if something's going wrong with Duncan, he can also start apparently and drop 24. Like, he's just been such a revelation. He's been ascending. I remember I was incredibly critical. I've been critical of so many players on this team when they first came in. We were critical of Duran last year. I was critical of the Tobias signing. Like the Kevin Huerter trade, I was like, I don't know. This guy just looks washed. In 2 weeks, absolutely changed my mind. He has gone from like, I guess we get this pick. I mean, I guess we got this trade. It was more for the pick than it was for the player. But now this player is proving to be incredibly important to the direction this team is headed. And part of it is because he's getting familiar with the system. And it's also because I want to give props to JB too. It looks like JB's kind of changed the way that this team is operating on offense, specifically when you don't have Cade in, or when you're in that second unit where it's not so much like one man trying to do a whole bunch of stuff, but the ball movement has been crazy.
I'm so glad you brought that up because one of the big knocks on JB is that he's not the most offensive minded coach. Obviously brought a defense culture, just gritty play style. But I completely agree. They're moving the ball in a way that's really exciting. It's active. Guys are making quick decisions. They're trusting each other. And I really hope that it continues when Cade comes back. Not that that doesn't happen, but just with such a heliocentric top guy, sometimes there's some standing around as he sort of probes and figures it out. But I also think Kevin's cutting has been contagious. You see it more with guys like Asar, Duncan, all capable cutters, but I feel like he's doing that. I could do that too. Javante as well. So it's cool to see. And I think JB deserves a ton of credit. And you love to see Kevin come on this team and find that shooting touchback, find that confidence. We were even talking off chat or off pod about how I just remember early in the season, Duncan's splits were always pretty good, but it just felt like getting him good looks was hard. Like it wasn't the same as Malik Beasley. It wasn't the same as THJ was last season. It just looked a little different. Needed a little more space, needed to move more constantly. And now he just looks so comfortable, and it took Herder even less time to figure it out. So it's great, especially for a team that, on paper lacks shooting.
It's on paper lacks shooting, but I mean, look at Danis's 3-point percentage. Look at Javante's 3-point percentage. Look at Duncan Robinson's 3-point percentage. Look lately at Kevin Herter's 3-point percentage. Look lately at Cade Cunningham's 3-point percentage. It's all moving up. Like it's except for Ron and Asar, which is fine. Like I don't need it.
We know this. Right. This is nothing.
Yeah. It's nothing new there. And per the ball movement and like when Cade comes back, will that be an issue? My thoughts on that are Cade is essentially replacing Danis back in the starting lineup when he comes back. In that first unit, the plays have mainly been like let Danis go and then give the ball to JD and let JD kind of handle it. It's been those two guys with Tobias and Asar and Duncan kind of doing stuff around the edges that are just like designed actions for them or slashing or, like just trying to get open. Yeah. That's going to be the same thing when Cade comes back. Where the ball movement is going to make a major improvement is in the second unit. When you're getting those secondary defenders, like trying to go around the perimeter, trying to guard guys. And now they can't guard guys because there are plenty of 3-point threats and plenty of slashing threats. And also we got to give a shout out to B-Ball Paul, who has been like absolutely exceptional instead of Stu, not instead of, but instead of Stu in his wake, because B-Ball Paul is just like an absolute revelation as far as like third bigs go. And I can't imagine the season would have gone in the direction it did if we didn't have him scoring 30 points, scoring 15 points, 20 points, getting stocks, getting rebounds, just being an absolute friggin' menace, getting all the broadcasters to say unconventional more than any other player.
They can't wrap their heads around the form. They can't.
It's truly unbelievable.
They don't know what to make of it.
But it's been incredible for B-Ball Paul. Who do you want to talk about next? Who's your next guy?
Let's go Danis. Head of the snake these days. Just being a real floor general. We were worried.
Yeah.
There was a 15 or so game stretch where it looked bad. I'm gonna eat all that crow. I'm gonna yum 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 yum. I'm gonna eat it up. Eat it up. Because we were like, I don't know. We were talking about other backup point guards that would be better. Forget all that mess. He looks amazing. Guys go through bad stretches and boo on me for being reactive. He looks so good out there. He's playing with just a head full of steam, making good decisions. The shot selection, the diet looks better.
Oh yeah.
Even when he doesn't have the most efficient night, he's playing decent defense. He's making good reads and the 3-ball. There was an episode of Pistons Pulse where they were talking about how much better he is at catch and shoot than he is off the dribble. The off the dribble numbers are quite bad from deep, and the catch and shoot numbers are ludicrous.
Sensational.
Yeah. They're really good. And I love
number one spot.
Yeah. And it's good. I think that the ball movement and everyone else sort of rising is he doesn't have to take these late clock, questionable desperation threes. Cause I think that's where a lot of it came from, but also just, trusting the other guys, getting better looks, finding the open guy. It's looked really good. And he's got got that stank face back.
Oh
He's
yeah.
got that. He's got
The
that.
stank sneer, the jankyard
Yeah,
sneer.
yeah. It's really looking good, and it's happening at the right time. So I love to see. I mean, it's almost like he had over the course of one season, Dana's had that rookie flash, that sophomore slump, and now he's sort of settling into. He's had basically 3 years in one, it seems like, and I'm really glad things are trending in the right direction as we move into the postseason, where he's poised to have a huge role. I forget who said it in the chat, talking about how maybe Trajan knows what he's doing more so than reactive fans such as us. I think that's a great point. And the whole thing about the deadline was a big bet on Danis.
Yeah.
And it's looking like that was a smart one. And it's pretty good that we didn't make a huge chip shove. And I'm really excited about the internal development from the guys. What have your impressions been of DJ? That's my DJ.
Go DJ, go Jankyard Dog. My God, that nickname's catching on. By the way, shout out to Mickey.
Really?
Up with that, yeah. I've seen other people on Blue Sky pumping the Jankyard Dog. I want to bring up Richard DM for it and OG unnamed YouTube user. Richard DM for it says DJ broke through that rookie wall, just took him starting, and he's still adjusting to tall bigs, but he's a solid second point guard. OG says Danis needs a minimum of 20 minutes to be at his best. He's a rhythm player. I think when his role is set, when he knows what is expected of him, and he's expected to be a big part of the game plan, he steps up to it, and that's part of the 20 minutes thing. And I don't think there's any way he's playing less than 20 minutes coming up. Like, the 3-point's been good, the ball handling's been good. He's been so important. He's been great defensively, like serious blocks. He got called for a foul on a block that was like clean as hell earlier. He's been like coming up in the clutch, even in games where he hasn't been playing well. He comes up in the clutch. It's pretty exceptional. The mid-range is back. Like, the mid-range was broke, and now it's like full on back. The mid-range that broke, Austin Reeves back. I love that.
What about the bank? What about Jank with the bank?
Jank with the
it's
bank.
so good.
It
Off
looks,
the glass.
It looks incredible. It looks extraordinary. And I think he will play minutes with Cade, and I think he will play minutes after Cade on top of that. So I think that 20 minutes thing, I don't think his role is in jeopardy, because he's one of the better ball handlers out there. And I also think that when he plays, it actually makes Karis LeVert look better, because Karis is like less 100% of the ball, and he's able to do a little bit more. And Karis has been playing better. He's still not phenomenal, but he's been playing better, I'd say, as of late. And that's been helpful. So I'm excited about where this team is headed. Can we talk a little bit about Javonte Green too, and just how he's been overall? Woo la la is what I like to say.
Ooh la la, baby. Yeah. Go ahead.
He's just like, when they've asked him to step up and start, he's been awesome. Like, every time he started, he's been awesome. The defensive intensity is always there. The way he gets steals, the way he gets the slams, hitting those threes. He's even been driving a little bit. He's been such a crazy, sneaky, sorry, Douglas, but he's been such a crazy, sneaky good get for the Pistons. And I love when
that is sneaky good, by the way. That is, we were with our buddy Doug, we were debating, he thinks the term sneaky good is way overused, and that's true, but I think this is a great example. Sorry, just wanted to provide a little context for the chat.
I think that's correct. But he's been like, they better bring him back for a couple years after this. That contract has to get signed, because I hate saying this, because I don't want to get other fans like revved up, but he would be good on literally any team. He's a player that every team could use. He's truly sensational at what his role is, and I'm just so happy he's on this team. Every time you play a team in the broadcast and you're listening to the opposing broadcasters, if he played for that team, they're like, "Oh, this is my guy. He was so good with us." And like, it didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like that when we signed him, but from jump, he has been just absolutely great. OG says Green is a player that can thrive in whatever minutes you give him. Same with Paul Reed. That's absolutely right. These guys are really doing their friggin' thing, and I'm enjoying it. I'm really feeling it.
Yeah, I have a bunch of Chicago friends. They told me, because I was not particularly familiar with JG's game. He's the epitome of a Swiss Army guy. Just does everything, and like everyone said, he's not a rhythm player like Danis or Karis. he can just stay ready, come off the bench, give you corner threes, give you wing threes, give you steals. Just plays such Pistons basketball, and seems really happy to be here. I remember in one of the belt ceremonies, he was just talking about, and they all say this, but just how great it is to do it with this group of guys, and he belongs.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I would want him re-signed for sure. And some of this, it's down the line, but some of this expansion draft stuff makes me worried because I love our squad so much. We talk about how hard it is to narrow it down to a playoff rotation of 9, let alone 8. So it's a little concerning, but that's a problem for a later day. But he rocks, man. He's so good. He's probably the best 3-and-D wing we have. So I'm a huge fan. He's been great.
He's
that red light, green light with him and Kevin. Sorry, what were you saying?
He's potentially the only 3-and-D guard. I mean, the only 3-and-D wing we have, truly. Like when it comes to what he does. Ampersand, he says he's already revved up, make some horse noises. We'll save that for the end of the show, the horse noises. But like,
stick around.
I'm here for the campaign. Give Woo another 2. Another 2 for Woo is what I want.
2 for Woo. That's been the slogan. That's good.
Another 2 for Woo. We'll make the shirts. We'll sell the shirts.
Yeah.
We'll get Trajan on board. But I hope they can make that happen. I think they can make it happen. You know what's so funny? You brought up the expansion draft stuff. I've watched a lot of podcasts that do like these mock expansion drafts just in lieu of it. The only player who ever gets picked off the Pistons is Paul Reed. That's it. And I don't think people get how good these Pistons are. Because they're not flashy
any team
names.
Would be lucky to have Paul Reed.
That's true.
I would be so bummed to lose our 3rd big.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at with that.
I'd be happy for him if he had more opportunity to play more minutes. But I want him on this team because I love him so much. I just love this team. I love the way these guys are assembled. It's not been often in my lifetime that there have been a collection of players, like a full collection of players on a team that I can truly get behind. And to Goraz and to Trajan Langdon, and honestly to Troy Weaver a little bit, and to JB, of course, I'm extremely grateful. So thank you for that. Thank you from a fan perspective of assembling this team. Not to sound like some fucking simp over here, but it's
simping for the front office, bro. And yeah,
Homer simping.
Thank you to them, and thank you to the chat for liking, subscribing. We broke 200. We're at 201 now.
201, baby.
Gravy, good gravy. Wow, to the moon, baby. We are onward, upward, and it's all because of you. Tell a friend. We're having fun. We're gonna keep doing it.
Great transition, by the way. Just like the Pistons.
Thank you.
In great transition.
The transition game is what it's all about. little defense to offense. Oh, gee, unnamed YouTuber. He gets worried when Green is guarding a big 4, but somehow he always seems to get it done. He looks small guarding Nas. Yeah, I mean, there was also just stop leaving Nas alone in the corner. That wasn't just a Javonte Green thing, but just the same spot like 3 or 4 times.
I will say this though, like on the back down body up stuff, Green I thought was doing a great job on.
He's strong,
on Nas, right? Like I do think he's strong. He's got solid base. He's got long arms. He's got good quick hands, and he has good positioning. So I think that's what's so crazy because he's listed at what 6'4", 6'5", something like that.
And yeah, I didn't understand how he was a backup power forward when we signed him, but now I understand.
It's nuts. It's just nuts. We had an episode a little while ago where we floating the idea of like, could he start? Like, would that be such a big deal? And I don't think if Tobias is injured, I don't think it's like such a bad thing if he's starting. I like in this game tonight, if Tobias doesn't play, I bet Wu starts, and I wouldn't be mad at it. So here we are. Here we're at. I also want to give. We haven't even talked about Asar yet. We haven't even talked about.
I know
my boy.
Well,
my main
there he is.
Man.
There he is.
Oh my God. 2-time defensive player, Eastern Conference defensive player of the month. Could have been 3 in a row. No joke. Like he kind of had better stats than Derek White did, and he could have done it. It's just watching the man play defense is like nothing I've ever seen from a perimeter defender ever. The amount of ground he covers, the anticipation he has, the ability to get cookies. The man getting cookies is nuts. Just taking it in and slamming it down. The offense, he's being aggressive about it. What's not to like? He's getting like damn near 5x5s.
He almost had a 5-by-5 in the Wolves game. The screen navigation, the relocation, the recovery, it's crazy. He's such a disruptor.
Mm,
It's incredible, and it's so Pistons. And we were just talking because I do think the offense is going to come around in a bigger way. So I really just, with the emergence of Duran and the bag that he is sure to get, I want to lock Asar down for as long as
yeah.
possible, for as little as possible. And I don't mean that, I'm not trying to shortchange the guy, but just because, you know, the points aren't crazy, but his value is, and
Yeah.
it's that is so obvious. And just when you think about how young he is and how much he still has to grow, and I'm not saying he's going to be knocking down threes anytime soon, but I do think that he's figuring out how to score the little mid-range
So good.
jumper. And like, this is such a perfect time. Like, that's why this whole stretch, it's one of the reasons why this whole stretch without Cade has been so good for the team, between Velvet coming out of his funk, Danis coming out of his, um, Asar getting more run, having to take a larger offensive load. It's really been cool. And had Cade stayed healthy, I don't know if the other guys would have gotten better. So
Mm.
I'm really hoping that this ends up being a best case scenario. Cade comes back and there's no chemistry issues. There's no like, ooh, is it my turn, your turn? Let's figure it out. But I'm very excited about his play. He's so good.
What another thing that I'm liking about him is like there are questions about like his offensive finishing and shooting and stuff. Everyone has those questions about it. But you know what hasn't happened? He hasn't shied away from attacking the basket or taking shots. The free
Yeah.
throw percentage is not deterring him from going to the rack or anything like that. I'm not saying he's being like crazy aggressive, but he's also not going the Ben Simmons route of just like disappearing on offense. So I'm pretty ecstatic about the direction you can get him. And Ibrahim says that Wu should start. Richard would like to see B-ball Paul start at the 4. I don't know about that. I'd rather the Wu 3-point shooting and like the movement. If especially because Dern might not play, so we don't even know if that's going to happen.
I,
Ibrahim
I
also,
don't think I don't think Duran's gonna play just because he was a late addition, and
yeah, it's Tolu time.
it's Tolu
It's
time.
Tolu time, dude.
By the way,
He's been good
Tolu's
too.
solid,
Yeah,
solid. I also think Tolu plays so good in his minutes with Danis because they have that G League connection.
yeah, and I think he brings like pretty good rebounding, good finishing around the basket. Like he had a sick little spin move that I saw, and he's thick as a brick, and like teams just don't have that much on him. So I'm here for it. Richard wants to know if the range for Asar seems like the 25 to $30 million a year range. If that's like likely, I think absolutely.
As long as possible.
If
Yeah, I love that number. And
right,
I want
if you can get him on the Dyson Daniels 5x25 deal or like the Josh Giddey 525 deal, oh my god, I'm thrilled. I absolutely thrilled. I'd consider him 5 for 30 at this point because the defense is so exceptional. It's so key to what
He's
makes
gonna
this
be
Pistons
first team
team
all
great.
defense this season. So yeah, I
He
think
should
I
be.
think it would be closer to 30. That would be my assumption. But yeah, I think lock that down for like, I would do 6 years if you could.
If you
I'd
could,
get
yeah,
as
right.
long as possible because it's just his trajectory is as high as his vertical. So
I
I think
right.
that's
I would do 5x30 this year. If you can get him to do it this year, because I think he might hold off a year because he's like, yo, I'm getting better. I'm already if especially if he's defensive player, I mean defensive first team, all defense first team this year, I'd be like, let me hold on another year and get my money up a little bit. But if you get that money in right now with Durn, like let's say Durn makes 42, let's say Cade's making that 50, and then Asar's making 25 to 30. That's your core. We already know that's the core going forward. That's fine and dandy by me. Build around the margins other than that, and we'll see what we can get. And we talked about it with Keith Smith on the last episode about like what their options are. That Peyton Watson option is possible. It's a possibility right there. I brought up the Jalen Williams idea. That's another cheap route you can go. It's just you'd have to penny pinch a little bit, but that's why you save these draft picks. And another reason why that draft pick is so good that we got this leap this year, because maybe that player can actually be a contributor. Maybe that player can actually be a starter. Who
I'm
knows
really
that?
excited about that. The fact that we beat that Minnesota game was big. Just another thing, Asar intangible. I think the leadership and the bond with JD is so good.
Oh
They
yeah.
push each other and they
Oh
make
yeah.
each other better. At times they've gone at it in a good competitive way. The Hawks game, they're we didn't win, but the fire they showed in that comeback, the animated Asar with the chest bump, let's fucking go. It's awesome. It feels like and that felt like a playoff game.
Yeah.
I obviously it
The
started
second half
poorly.
did.
It started really poorly, but like this happens in games. Like sometimes you slip and you're like, oh no, we're down 20. But I love that they fought. I love that they made it interesting. And we're gonna drop some games. I hate to say it, but you can't win them all. And I liked what I saw, even though the first half was no bueno.
It was pretty poor. But you know what has been bueno is the Cade Cunningham sweater game. My
Okay.
guy, can we take a
Okay.
look at
Let's take a little.
ooh,
That's nice.
just look
That's
at this
nice.
scheme. By the way, Natalie Kerwin was wearing the same color scheme on her dress that game. I was like, oh, what an interesting little matchup. Going
George
on there.
Blaha really, really was taken by this sweater.
He
He
hit
he brought
the
it up
kid's pants in
multiple
half.
times.
He was feeling the sweater.
Yeah,
The blue sky chat was also like hella into the grandpa sweater vibes, but it's a good look. I
it's
dig this.
sick.
And
It's sick.
then not to be outdid, but he came back with another one. This one with the zip up and like the kind of mad design, dude. Do you have a preference on them? And what do you think about his sweater game overall?
Gosh, I'm so glad this is stuff you're only going to get on Order of the Blazing Horse. By the way, is we'll talk about a Star's defensive game, we'll talk about JD's face up game, and we're also going to talk about Cade Cunningham's knitwear game. And I think I like the first one. I think the colors are they're both really cool. They look cozy.
Oh,
I know it gets cold in those arenas, so he's got to stay cozy. They do look so comfortable, Ampersand. I couldn't agree more. I'm glad he's staying cozy out there on the court while he's cheering for his guys. I also loved the Jared Jack clip with the where he shoved him and was like, "Oh shit!"
Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. I'm fine, bro. It's so friggin' funny. Cade's a funny guy, and I hear he can sing like a lady, dude.
I text this to Harry all the time. It's just my two favorite sentences from any interview is, "I can sing like a lady. I can sing like Whitney."
Can we get a clip?
What?
Please.
He says he goes to the studio. Either he's trolling or has caught like just total dissonance about what his abilities are, or he's got it like that. Which, if he says he does, I'm inclined to believe him. When it comes to basketball, he really has it like that. But that's a crazy thing to say. Whitney's arguably the GOAT. Like there's no way you can sing like Whitney. There's just no. It's crazy stuff. But I think about it a lot. I think about that more than I think about the scars. I think these are the enigma that is Cade Cunningham. But yeah, I can't wait to see him back on the floor.
I want to give out
uniform.
I got to give a shout out to the chat because they're bringing up some fantastic stuff. OG says Mr. Rogers on steroids. Yeah, dude, we got to see Cade come in, slip off the Nike Sabrinas and slip on some slippers like Mr. Rogers at the beginning.
Hopping off the trolley, dropping dimes,
just creepy puppets on his pockets. No, yo, on the real, like I did not like Mr. Rogers because the puppets creeped me the fuck out. I was a Mr. Dress Up kind of guy under the umbrella tree. If you're into that, again, another Canadian TV show reference on me, but when you live that close to Lake Ontario,
what are you hoser over here?
Yeah, I know, dude. I'm out of my toque on this
real
one.
Canuck.
too young for SCTV, but that should be me. And then Ampersand 2001 says those sweaters remind me of the shit his first ex-wife would talk him into buying a summer set collection just so she could borrow it. A lot to unpack from that post. One, first ex-wife, Ampersand. I hope it was an amicable split because it sounds like she had good taste at the very least.
I just hope you kept the sweaters. That's you got in the split. I hope.
It sounds like she packed those things up and took them with them.
Yeah.
On the positive side, at least the second ex-wife didn't get them. So there is that. Shout out to CBC. Truly, shout out to CBC. Great stuff from them over there. So now that we covered the players, we covered
the important stuff.
The sweaters. Let's cover
hard hitting,
tight fitting, just neck gripping. Wonderful content. And of course, forget to like, subscribe. Don't forget.
Do it again.
Subscribe. Do all that stuff. Sign up. Tell a friend. Get it on there. Mickey, why don't we get into the 76ers preview? The 76ers are fighting for that 6th spot in the East. They're not going to get 5. Atlanta seems to have 5 pretty locked up at this point, but the Sixers going for that 6th spot because the battle for the play-in is insane tight. right now we are looking at Philadelphia in that 6th spot, 43-34. Toronto at 7, 43-34. Charlotte, 42-36. Orlando, 41-36. Then Miami's 40-37. So like Miami's out of it. Orlando's pretty close to out of it. But those other 3 teams, they're like within a game of each other coming in here. So they're hungry for that. And who knows how it's going to go? Who knows how it's all going to play off? If Philly loses, they drop to the 7th seed and risk falling behind Charlotte. If Charlotte continues to ascend, I know Charlotte's got some tough games. A lot of these teams have tough games going on. But tell me a little bit about the Sixers matchup we got coming in here.
Yeah, well, it's always tough to tell who's going to be healthy. I thought as of yesterday that it was going to be a fully healthy squad, and I couldn't believe it because that never happens.
Especially in a back-to-back, dude.
Yeah, but there's a few game time decisions that popped up.
Embiid is out for what it's worth.
Embiid is out. Okay, so this is fun because we've got the B-ball Paul Drummond or Bona matchup, but I'm really excited for the B-ball Paul homecoming revenge get back game. I think he always plays hard, but the fact that he's starting and he's going up against his old squad, I'm expecting a big game from him. Tyrese Maxey is back, so it's going to be on Asar to contain him. He's always got the lead ball handler, the distributor. That's going to be him. Edgecombe's been okay lately. I think he started off super hot and he's been on a little bit of a slump, but he's also and the Pistons have done a pretty good job of containing him. He's
an incredibly capable player, though. Like he's an exciting young guy. He's capable of breaking off at any moment. So, like
for sure, he's super athletic. He can knock down the 3. He's really
good D too. Like he's a player. He's a baller. Philly got one.
No question. Kelly Oubre's back. He's a guy. If you leave him alone, he will do it to you. He has done it to the Pistons in the past. So he's no slouch. Paul George is, I think, game time decision. I don't know if he will play, but he has been back since he got over his suspension for ketamine. I was brainstorming a couple nicknames for Special P.
Yeah. Do you think he just comes over and he's just like trying to get licks off of Greg?
Yeah,
get that Special K at him.
Yeah. Coach Cahill.
Yeah, Coach Cahill.
I know he's a player, but I love the.
Have you heard my bit about doing Special K?
No.
Okay, so surprise, viewers and listeners, I used to do a fair share of drugs when they were available to me at my.
I know you've done ketamine. Wow.
Yeah, of course. I've done. Not to spoil it. Sorry, my parents. I know they listen sometimes. I've done pretty much everything except for meth and heroin because no need to do that overall. And like I don't do any of that stuff anymore. But when I did Special K, I was at this rave and this guy just like scooted up next to me and he's like, "You want to do some? You want to do some ketamine with me?" And I was like, "What's ketamine?" And he goes, "It's the stuff they use to put cats to sleep."
Yes, sir.
It worked on me.
Baby. Yeah.
It worked on me. I did it, baby.
Yeah. And people love it, by the way.
Yeah.
I've not done ketamine.
It's all right. It's a fun little couple minutes. I'm not saying you should go out and do it or anything like that. You really shouldn't do drugs unless like you're prepared and you're like with a good group and stuff like that. And if you know you're not around the cops. But like whatever. It's an eye-opening, it's a fucking experience. So whatever. Plus everybody who listens to this podcast is over 40 anyway, right? Like that's still where we're at right now. So hopefully I'm not influencing the kids to do anything bad.
Flip it, aggregate it.
Oh, Harry. The order does more than just blaze. Ampersand says, I remember when I met a good friend of mine for the first time. He was on the 3rd day of a homemade acid trip. That sounds like a nightmare.
That does sound, yeah. Third day is yeah, that's rough.
Ketamine's great because it's over in about 5 seconds. It's pretty damn quick. What do you take your first little hit?
Anyway, Paul George. So you can get hot or he can have a total. He's such a feast or famine kind of player. If he plays, so I'm looking at that. I think the thing to look out for is guarding the 3 ball, just because they have a lot of capable shooters.
Yep.
I'm less worried about the paint. just because we have Asar, we have Paul Reed, we got guys like that, Javante. But yeah, it's just, I also want to like keep an eye on the perimeter defense for the playoffs, because I think the strategy for teams is going to be shut down the paint and try to shut down the paint and force the Pistons to both guard the three and hit the three. So I think these next few games are good preparation for that.
I agree. And I think that guarding the three, they've actually been pretty good at the perimeter.
Sorry, Richard DM for it. Run Drummond off
the line. On the real, the amount I see on Blue Sky that says Drummond corner 3, question mark, exclamation point, you got to get rid of the punctuation because it's happening non-fucking stop.
He drove like 3 against us or something in our first meeting this season. I thought I was on ketamine. I thought I was having an acid trip, but no, it's real. It happened.
He does it. He puts it out like that. I just feel like the perimeter D has been better as of late. Like there was that little slump where they were like late to the rotations. Now it seems like they're on it. They were especially on it in that like OKC game. I felt like they were really stopping everybody except for like Shea, letting Shea get like his, but like you're not gonna stop Shea anyway. So it is what it is.
It's so hard to figure out how hard to close out on him,
right?
Because he's lava. He's lava.
Yeah. Can't touch it. But also, we were talking about this off stream. I haven't looked up the numbers because I'm afraid they're not going to confirm what I believe. Just like I posted that like 20 point leads don't mean anything in the NBA, and then John Schumann, shout out to him, former guest on the front of the pod. He's like, actually, here's the record. It was like 18 to 430. And the Pistons are 0-9 in those games. So I guess 20-point leads are shit in the NBA.
Showman showed you.
Yeah. He also had some showmanship about it as far as some showmanship. But it feels to me like the Pistons have been pretty good from 3 lately. Like a lot of games over 50%, over 40%. Like, okay, go off, hit these things. I'm all for it. I'm all for them getting to this. And like the Asar Maxey thing, I feel like if Asar shuts down Maxey, then the game is the Pistons to have. Yeah. And those are the battles I care about the most moving forward, because, you know, like we don't know if JD is going to play. If he plays, great. Like, go to fucking town inside. You brought up, teams are going to try to stop Pistons with paint? I don't think they can. I truly do not think most teams have the actual mass or capability to stop Duren, Paul Reed, Stu, Asar and Tobias and their ways in the paint, Ron with his way in the paint, Cade when he comes back with his ways in the paint. Honestly, even Dane he's so quick when he gets to the paint. Yeah, he gets blocked every once in a while, but he gets around and he gets in. It's like, it's kind of fucking impressive.
That quick layup he had in OKC, just deciding, putting his head down, like, I'm going to just score right now.
Yo, his first play of the game against Minnesota was like just burning past the defender. I think it was burning past Io. And
he's the kind of player where if he senses blood in the water, he's just going to go. It's really great. I love it.
It's exciting stuff to see. So that's what I want to have happen. I want to see how this Asar thing plays out, because if Asar continues to be able to just absolutely remove the number one player from the other team from the equation, that is massive. People talk about like, oh, well, if Cade doesn't come back, they don't have anything. If Asar plays, that takes away the other team's Cade. You know what I'm talking about? Like, and not many teams have a player like that. In fact, I think almost no teams have a player like that. Ibrahim says elite first step for Jenkins. He's an absolute blur. Ampersand says he keeps forgetting Andre Drummond is still playing. Well, I'll never forget after he brought his dog to the podium. That was like just one of my favorite moments of the year.
In fairness, sometimes he doesn't. He's the kind of player who will have 3 DNPs and then a 2020 game somehow. I mean, not 2020, but more like 10 and 15 or something. It's
well, you mean 2020 as it was good in hindsight, which is always
No, but sometimes he'll just grab 20 boards in a game. Like, oh, whoa, Andre Drummond popped off and 4 threes or something. It's crazy.
Incredible.
What a world. All
right. I want to move into our final segment, and I should have actually you sent me those pictures, right? Was that in the G chat? Because
it is.
Let me grab those pictures as we talk. I know they're in here, so I want to grab those images real quick. But Mickey, why don't you, while I'm doing that, go ahead and introduce this segment.
It's a fun little segment. This isn't necessarily Pistons specific, although
Well,
no spoilers, no spoilers. But we were talking about the players who complain to the refs the most, and if we could compile a starting five of the most complainingest, we're calling it first team all crybaby.
It's so funny because like almost every player does complain a little bit to the referees, but some players are
Some
just
more than
like
others.
some players are pretty explicit.
Richard GM for
Luka,
it. No question. No question.
For number one,
You're not wrong. Spoilies.
yeah, let me real quick get these just on here for these photos. But yeah, I think just because we're there, why is that? That's not right. But you know what? Fuck the picks, dude. Whatever. I'll get these picks and I'll show them at the end of it. But let's just talk player by player, all that case, how it works out, who you like, who you don't like. But let's start on Luka. Why is Luka your number one with a bullet, first team all crybaby?
God, he really is the goat of whining to the refs.
And it's not just because he's European.
No, he
whine, not because of whining. The
he'll,
says he's
he'll get calls and whine still. He will not get back on D. He is just constantly irate. And maybe he's one of those players that has to get pissed because that'll happen. Someone will heckle him in the crowd and he'll just turn it on and go to that, kick into that extra gear. But man, he is really annoying. And it's there it is there. Oh, we got it. There's how and by the way, I hope he gets better soon. But this is constant. We see this all the time. He is really good and he knows it and he thinks he deserves every call. And he might, but he's going to tell you about it.
Nobody deserves every call. And he certainly gets more.
No, I want him shooting 30 free throws a game. I think he deserves it. I think he's great.
I think he should change the name on the back of his jersey from Doncic to Incredulous, and then we'd be in a good place. Right? It's so nuts.
If you're listening on audio, I'm just gaping, just jaw dropped, just every time in shock and disbelief when he doesn't get a call. And I wouldn't mind so much if he didn't just hunt for it so much. We're talking about the difference between, seeking contact with and actually attempting to score or just like getting a bump and throwing it up. And they got to stop that. But anyway, yeah, there's no debate. Luka, captain, number one, first team all crybaby.
Okay.
Elite complaining skills. It doesn't get much better. You want to tell us the second.
So
who's his partner in the backcourt?
Who's his partner in crime? It's funny that you say partner in crime. He's definitely not his partner in time, but he is like from the same team, and he might not have the volume right there, but over time he has the most. It's LeBron James, dude. LeBron begs for calls. Come on, look at this picture. He looks like oh my God, why am I blanking on Phil? It looks like Phil Hartman playing Phil Donahue, begging for an answer in the Saturday Night Live sketch from the 90s, which no one remembers, but I do. I care for it. I remember it. LeBron is just, he complains. He complains nonstop, and it's so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary.
It's almost like there's a trend with Los Angeles Lakers and complaining and divas and ego and attitude. I will say, for context, this was in a game against Boston where he was absolutely hacked by Tatum. This is the one where Pat Bev came over to the refs with the camera and got teed up.
One of the best moments in NBA history, I think. The camera grab,
great.
So funny.
You're gonna point, and they're gonna. Oh, well, I see now. Thank you, P Bev.
Let me change.
Thank you.
That.
I didn't see it that way on this stupid LCD camera screen. But amazing.
Yeah, together, the two. I would hate to be a referee for one, but I just could not stand the begging of call, just reffing a Lakers game. Because not only would I have to hear from these two, the complaints nonstop, I'd also have to hear from the NBA front office to give these guys calls. You know what I'm talking about? But it's just unfortunate that the calls happen so much. He's a great player, arguably the greatest player of all time. I'm going to say, but he does complain a lot.
Well, yeah, as DM for it said, he's the GOAT whiner. Yeah, name a better. He's arguably the greatest player of all time. Definitely the greatest whiner of all time.
Yeah.
There's no debate about that. And you got to put some respect on the name. Crown that man. Goat crybaby. That's my goat.
Crybaby. All right, Mickey, give us another one. Actually, do we want to see if the chat can guess who the next one will be, or do you want to just
give him a position and see if they can get it?
Let's go with the big man. Let's get our big man wine.
Yeah.
Let's go with the 5.
Who is the complainingest center in the league? Anyone.
We did go by position. For what it's worth.
Yeah, this is a starting 5. So LeBron's at the 3. We'll put LeBron at the 3.
Is that right? Yeah, I think that is correct.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron is at the 3. Chad, you want to lean into it at all? Most of our criteria was just like who we see complaining, who makes the most audacious faces.
This is eye test. Who comes to mind as the whiniest, complainiest center?
I mean, the Luka one was so obvious. People, before we even like really got into what this team was, people were like, Luka.
Correct.
Luka. Yeah. It sounds like he's going to miss, by the way. So that means Luka, Ant, and Cade are all out of the all NBA team. At this point, they could make an all NBA team of just guys who came in just short. Embiid, that's a pretty good one. Embiid,
pretty good one.
Name
pretty
up there.
Yeah, honorable mention for sure. Honorable mention.
Maybe let's put him on the bench. He'll be honorable bench from our squad. But
well, it's like, is he even gonna play? You know, like, is he? Like, I can't see him. You can't whine if you're not suited up.
Unless you're whining about not suiting up, which is what he did yesterday.
God, man, that's making a case. That's making a case. Maybe he is deserving.
But some would say not as deserving as this man. Mickey, why don't you break into it?
Karl Anthony Towns, very flaily, very, very turn around and yell at the refs. It's pretty constant. Even when he just barrels into the paint without a plan and just sort of throws the ball up, it seems pretty consistent. A lot of questioning, a lot of just like incredulousness. A lot of this expression that you see here, the hands, the mouth open, it feels pretty consistent. I think he's deserving of the starting slot.
One thing he does that the rest of these players do not do is he actually gets called for the fouls. Like, he's getting called for offensive fouls like crazy. And there are a lot. He's just not as sly. He complains a lot for a guy who has not mastered the craft of being sneaky with the foul. And it's a bummer. It's a bummer. It adds to the lore of Cat because I think people are already like so down on him, but my guy does whine a little bit. I like Cat. I'm pro Cat.
I do. Cat's one of the greatest shooting big men in the game. And by the way, this squad is elite so far.
Right.
This squad, I think that's sort of what we're trying to say is for all of these knocks, this is a 3-headed dragon right now. Yeah. This is any team would kill.
The Lakers would lose their shit if they were able to get Cat. There's like no doubt about it. And Richard said his elbow is
the hook.
Obvious.
Hook. Yeah, Doug's always writing it into the songs is his hooking.
Yeah, because the hook brings you back. If you want to quote 90s sensation blues traveler, that former guest of the show, Kelly Dwyer, was not a fan of. But yes, the hook does bring you back. And Ibrahim says, bro, y'all remember when B-Ball Paul blocked the shit out of Cat? Yes, I do. Ass on the floor, and Cat did whine after that play. So there's just another semester.
I would too, in fairness.
Well, you wouldn't get away with it. You don't get away with it.
Yeah. All right. So this is a great team so far, but I feel like we need a little defense.
That's not even the direction I was going. I wanted to go a little differently than that.
I was going to save that. I was going to save it.
I don't want to save it.
Take it where you want it. Take it where you want it.
You talked about, in fairness, you would have complained about the foul. I want to say, in fairness, Pistons have a little bit of the complaining problem on their team as well. And you could argue that maybe Cade Cunningham does that a little bit much. If you bring
this is a whole podcast. You got it. And by the way, maybe it wouldn't be like this if he could get a fucking call, but he cannot. So but it's a real chicken or the egg situation. Does Cade not get calls because he complains to the refs, or does Cade complain to the refs because he does not get a call?
I'm sorry. You can't go into GQ and complain about calls and not be on the all-crybaby team.
He can sing like a lady. He can sing like Whitney.
He's singing like a lady to the referees trying to get these calls. And we're admitting everybody on this lineup is a fucking baller, but they're also a baller. You know what I mean? Like, they're just tears down the eyes for this whole thing. Cade is a little bit of a crybaby, and it's gotten him some technical fouls, I'd say.
I can't sell a foul for nothing, is the quote. But hey, you know, it's have there been a couple times where he's barking at the ref instead of getting back on D? I've seen it. I've seen it.
I've seen him.
I've seen it happen. But that's my goat. I don't care. This by the way, who's beating this squad?
This is
Cade Luka backcourt?
Unreal squad. The defense is a little bit suspect. I will say that. As you brought up, the defense is a little suspect.
We're gonna get there.
And Richard does say that Cade and JD do have their arms up completely. JD is big on the.
I love the turn.
Yeah.
The turn to the after. It's a lot of, not to the other team's bench, not to your bench, to the ref.
Mm-hmm.
To the ref.
Like when you try to call a dog back to come inside, just to turn at you like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
I think if Cade had a catchphrase, it might be "and motherfucking one."
Yeah, I think so. It should say it on his new shoes. It should say "and motherfucking" and then one on the other.
Yeah.
Or "and motherfucking one." That put it on the tongue, dude.
The AMF ones?
Yeah. AMF ones. Oh my God, we named this.
I would pre-order. Pre-order a pair.
Bro, let's make the commercial. For real.
Yeah.
You and me, we're gonna make the and MF and one shoes. We'll make that commercial. It's coming out. So get ready for it. Cade, Nike.
Stay tuned.
All y'all.
This spec ad.
You want to close out this team, or do you want to give some honorable mentions before we get into
let's give some honorable mentions, and while we do that, feel free to throw out some that you think in the chat. But I will tell you, I would love for you to try to guess the last one. It is a power forward with a defensive-minded power forward.
A front court player. Let's call him that.
Sure. I worry that that's giving too much away. But
my bad.
No, me. I'm worried. Okay. So for an honorable mention, scrappy hustle guy, Josh Hart. I think that's a great name.
Mm-hmm.
One that I personally struggled with because I felt he was deserving was Alperen Sengun.
Oh my God!
I thought he could have started at the 5, but you got to go to Cat's body of work.
Yeah,
He's been doing it for longer. He's been whining for longer. Alperen Sengun could. He's on his way.
He's on his way. He's a rising star.
He's a rising crybaby. Future is bright for Alfred.
Right now, he's not quite in the terrible twos, but he's on his way up there.
No, he's making a name for himself in the bitch to the ref arena.
And not to be left out of that whole team world crybabies, but Denny Abdia, dude. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Cry me a river. It's
there's this, and then there's this. There's
insane gesticulation to get these calls, and it just ain't happening. Well, I mean, it actually is happening. He's getting way more calls.
Yeah, he did. I guess and that's sort of the thing is, does this work? I think that for Luka, LeBron, definitely. Cade, not so much. Not so much.
You gotta get rid of the Ka. The cat. Cade, not happening. I guess Luka. So you have to end with the Ka on there. We're not gonna have any other suggestions. Do you want to give out the Brunson?
Brunson's that's a great name.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Can I give a quick shout out to Brunson though? I saw an Instagram video from his podcast where he said he's never used Chat GPT in his life. Fucking good for you, dude. Mad respect to Brunson for that.
Sick flex.
Mm-hmm. There's one more. We already have our guard spots filled, but this guy, he maybe changed the game when it comes to complaining or baiting, if you want to say that. In James Harden, man,
absolutely huge name. That's the recent meme on my whole life. On my whole life, he said.
On my whole beard.
For an out of bounds call.
Unbelievable.
On my whole life. Fantastic stuff. Are we ready? I don't think anyone's going to guess it, or if they are, it doesn't matter. He's a legend. He's a legend defensively. He's a legend in terms of winning, and he's a legend in terms of not just crying to the refs, but barking at him too. Draymond motherfucking Green, MSU's own.
Yeah, dude.
Give it up.
Uh,
Look,
what can I say? Apparently, it ain't easy being green as
it
far
is
as getting the
no.
calls go. But like that clip of him like complaining and just like losing his mind, and Curry just standing next to him, like is so funny.
Which
But
one?
yeah,
Which one?
which one is fair?
It's
It's very fair. But the dude is he is team tantrum more than
Mhm.
crybaby. It's not just whining, it's like throwing absolute fucking fits about it.
I respect it though because he kind of does for bitching at the ref what the Pistons do for defense and fouling, where you can't call every foul. You can't call every horrible thing that he calls. If he's doing it constantly, you can't tee him up every time. Like truly, it's the same principle. And he grew up in the going to work locker room. He was around that, so he respects Detroit basketball. So this is your first team all crybaby. And I gotta say, I think that if this is a second apron team. I'm not gonna lie. This is an expensive squad, but I don't think any team's beaten them.
Yeah.
I think they could take down OKC. I think they could take down the Spurs. I think this team beats the Pistons because you got Cade Cunningham on Cade Cunningham. That's a tough matchup. But no, let us know. What did you think about our first team all crybaby? Are there any teams we missed? Any players we missed? We had fun doing this. This was a fun. It's
Oh
the
wait, I forgot one thing that we didn't. This team doesn't have a coach, dude.
Oh my god.
How could
Well,
we?
wow. Who to lead this squad? Did someone refs public enemy number one bench? Yeah,
I think that's fair.
that's fair. Richard Giampor, you put Şengün instead of Draymond. Yeah, again, we got to go body of work on this.
Yeah, and you know who's making the decision to start Draymond over Şengün is our most complainingest coach, and that's of course
Let's
JB
go.
Bickerstaff.
Give it
Like,
up for him.
this dude throws challenges like Happy Gilmore throws the flag, like just pulling it out of the hole, ripping it out. The dude is so
So
upset
good.
all the time. People
Public
talked about
enemy
it
number
last year.
one.
Does any coach complain more than JB to the referees? I mean, he's got a case.
I think he's been right a lot more this year.
Not in the
'Cause I think-
challenges.
No, but doesn't he actually have a really good record?
No, he has a high volume of success. He has the second worst record. He has like the most challenge wins with the second worst record in challenges. Or something
King of
like
the
that.
frustration challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you just got to go on principle.
Sometimes he just calls the challenge to bitch out the refs, dude.
Yeah, that was good. Or a timeout to bitch out the ref. I love that. Yeah.
Can I real quick talk about the tech of assigned to Asar Thompson from a couple of games ago? Asar gets the clean steal. Tony Brothers calls the foul. Asar turns to JB and does the challenge motion. Tony Brothers gives him the technical foul. That was insane, dude.
Not what I thought you were going to mention. I thought you were going to bring up the no call on Ron Holland when Randall got him in the face.
Smacked him in the face. Oh my god, man!
That was the one where he just called the timeout to bitch at them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that justly so. You got to do that.
Yeah. Because what are we doing? And then, so this is just so weird, and we don't need to get on a whole rabbit hole about it. But this is what happens: is
Tony Brothers retiring this year, thank God, dude. Retire.
Yeah, but we still got Scott Foster. We still got Scott Foster, the worst of all. But it's so weird so they'll miss stuff like that or miss stuff like that, and then just try to balance it out in the second half by making some other calls that maybe are correct, but not calls they've been making the whole. The inconsistency is crazy, and both fans of both teams end up just irate.
Super furious. Totally warranted in their furiosity, if that's a word. Scott Foster knows where the bodies are buried.
Yeah, Scott Foster, star of number one draft king. Number one. He's the fix is in. Scotty does know. For all my Euro Trip fans out there, throwback.
I do love that movie.
It's a great movie.
Vinny Jones in that. My Baby Takes the Morning Train. Killer.
Great stuff.
Incredible movie. Funny stuff. Some weird stuff in that movie. A little bit gross, but
we love a raunchy 90s aughts teen comedy.
Oh yeah,
it's good stuff.
rest in peace, Nona F. Mecklenburg, Michelle Trachtenberg.
Yeah, Michelle Track. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Great,
Crazy.
great in that movie. Great in general. Great in Adventures of Pete and Pete. So what a somber
Mhm.
note to close the show on. But this is the first team all cry, baby. I think we came up with a good one. I think you guys gave us some good backups in there too.
Yeah, really good stuff.
Very fun. And we just want to thank y'all for joining the show. Y'all have been so great, so fun, so consistent. And you've honestly made being not only a podcast host and prophet, but Pistons fan very fun. And it feels like a great community to be part of. I'm happy to be here and I'm happy Noni's here too.
Noni in the cut. Uh-oh, she's loving this. But no, it's a blast. The 200, it's not just about numbers, but it means more to us than it should. We're having a great time. Pistons peaking, we're peaking. It's good stuff. So stay with us. We're gonna keep the good times rolling.
Let the good times roll. That's a sick album, by the way. I
Yeah.
love that Cars album. So while we keep this thing rolling, why don't you keep on rolling? Go and watch the game. Have fun watching the Pistons take on the Sixers. Hopefully, clench that first overall seed in the Eastern Conference.
I think the boys want 60.
Oh,
I think
dude,
I think the
so
squad
too.
wants 60. They got to win 4 out of the next 5,
Yeah.
which is
It's manageable. It's very manageable.
But yeah, we're all peaking, and not just on the ketamine
Okay.
that Harry took before this. But yeah, it would be 60 would be awesome. We'll see. I agree. I think it's in the cards.
That's wonderful. And you're also wonderful out there listening, all those watching. So as always, I've been Harry.
I'm Mickey.